Hello comrades, and welcome to video 2 of Theater and Dance 101. The cat knocked over my tripod a couple of times in the last one, so now Toby is holding the camera, so hopefully he will be sturdier than the cat. The first stitch we're going to do is the even basting stitch. You can find it on your sampler. It's the one that has dots evenly spaced about 1/4 inch apart. This is the very most basic stitch. It's the one where the needle just goes in and out of the fabric at even intervals. We'll use this stitch for fabrics that don't hold pins well to sort of hold it together temporarily. We can also use it if we're wanting to do a hand gather, which means that we're going to pull the thread and make the fabric bunch up on itself. For the purposes of this class, we're just starting with it because it's such a simple stitch. So, as promised, I'm going to show you a way to do a knot that doesn't involve twirling the thread around your finger. This is a knot that you actually put directly into the fabric. And so to do this kind of knot, you take a tiny little stitch like this. You pull your thread so that you only have like a teeny little tail sticking out. Then you take another tiny little stitch in that exact same spot. You pull your thread so that you have a tiny little circle, like smaller than the tip of your pinky. And then you're going to put your needle through that circle once. You're going to put your needle through that circle again. And then you're going to pull your thread. Oops. My thread pulled through the fabric. I didn't have it solid enough. Let's try again. So tiny stitch, get your circle, go through your circle once, go through your circle twice, pull, and not only do you have a knot, you're also now at the starting point of your stitching. Ouch. So to do this stitch, what you're going to do is you're going to put your needle in at the first hole and out at the second hole. So that's what it looks like when you're taking the stitch. In at the first hole, or spot, out at the second one. And so what you're going to end up with is what looks like a dashed line. So in at one, out at the next. In at one, out at the next. Now I'm going to simulate a problem that you might have. Oh, no, my thread's being too cooperative. Sometimes you'll get a loop of thread sticking up. And if that happens, if you pull your threads individually, it'll usually flatten out. Tobes, can you pause for a sec? So when you get to the end of your line of stitching, it should look like a dotted line. And then you're going to knot off. And this is how you knot off. You put your needle into the fabric real close to where your thread came out. And you're going to poke it part way through. So you've got your eye end and your pointy end. Then you're going to take this thread that's coming out near the front of the needle, and you're going to wrap it around the needle once. You're going to wrap it around the needle twice, and then you're going to pull the needle to make a knot. The other way that you can knot off is you take a tiny little stitch right where you came out at the end, pull the needle so that you have a little circle, go through the circle once, go through the circle twice, and pull. So now you have a knot at the end of your line of stitching, so that line of stitching isn't going to go anywhere. And then I actually like to put my thread through to the back side of the fabric and cut it off on the back side so that I don't have an ugly tail on the front. And that, my friends, is the even basting stitch. Dotted line on the front, dotted line on the back. Thanks much.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.